Hey guys, this is Ulrich Slayer doing a Borderlands 2 video. This will be just a quick one showing you my Siren loadout, my glass hammer Siren, and I'll give you a little Pyrocaustic Pete soloing. Let's see. I'm going to start out with my weapons first. I've got in my primary slot the Social Bitch, which actually is it's a really nice SMG, but I haven't been using it much anymore with the other weapons I'll get to in my loadout. But this weapon is really solid. Deals almost 5,000 a shot, which is quite nice. Hyperion accuracy is always great. Fires really fast. It does pretty damn high burn damage. One of the great aspects of this weapon, one of the reasons why I love it so much, is its ridiculously high bonus to critical hit damage. And this one combined with the B shield, this was my primary way to take out Terramorphous back when I was first trying it, way back months ago. It works really well. Right now, these days, though, I'm kind of using it as my standard mook killer, the regular guys I run across if I'm trying to save ammo and I can kill them pretty quick. I'll just use this. That's not to say it's bad. It's just that I'm able to use a couple other weapons a bit better, kind of take more advantage of my other weaponry, which, well, I guess I should say equipment. You'll see as I go along, but yeah, this is still one of my all-time favorite SMGs in Borderlands 2. Next up is the Sandhawk. I have an electric elemental version of this, which I actually got from Master Kiz. He gave this to me pretty recently, and this weapon, when combined with the Siren, her natural affinity for SMGs as well as elemental damage, is a really, really potent combination. But what makes this weapon so great, especially now after the B shield has been nerfed, is that it harkens back to the old ability to shoot many projectiles to get each sort of pull of the trigger with this weapon to deal massively increased damage. And the way it does that is it fires 8 separate projectiles in a hawk-like pattern that kind of flies out of the gun. The projectiles shoot kind of slow, but if you lead your target, there's no real problem. But this does get around the B nerf that was giving the conference call so many problems, and with the Siren, it's just a really great weapon, and with that electrical elemental damage, it really helps against some of the rave bosses with tough shields. I mean, Pete in particular. Decent damage, and again, you have multiple shots. Each one of those is going to be amplified by the B, and you have some decently high electrocute damage as well, so both of those really help, and you'll see me using it in this video when I go down and face Pete. Let's see. Caustic Conference Call, harkening back to the old pre-B nerf days. Deals pretty massive damage, again, like everything else. Thing is, though, it doesn't synergize as well with the B shield anymore. That's not to say it's bad. It's still in my top 4 weapon slots of this build. It's really my favorite caustic weapon that I have. I do have a couple other weapons I could slide in for caustic if I'm running low on ammo, but this is my standard fare. This is what I'd really want to be in my caustic slot, and it fills that role nicely, and it doesn't take away from any of the SMG or pistol ammo I use in my more primary slots. Now to ironically, even though this is in slot number 4, this is my real primary weapon, the one that I use most often against the harder enemies, and this is the Redundant Fibber, which is the most powerful version of any of the fibbers out there that I know of. What makes this gun so powerful is, you'll notice its stats. These are pretty much bullshit. You'll notice that "Would I Lie to You" in the kind of cryptic red flavor text here, that negates all these stats. Love is not a thing in this game. But the one aspect of this that is real, this damage up here, this obscenely high number, that if you bounce these shots off of a surface, it will deal that damage. One more thing that is great about this weapon, it actually fires 16 shots in a shotgun spread. But since it lies, it says it only has 2. Now, this number right here is what's input into the B shield. So as I go down to the B, this beautiful amplifier shield, it's going the way that the B nerf works. It used to be that whenever you had a shotgun or any sort of spread weapon, this bonus of 46,000 damage would apply to every single little bit that came out of your gun, be it a shotgun pellet or what. So if you had like 20 projectiles coming out of a gun in one shot, each of those 20 would get this bonus in full. After the nerf, however, they took this number and divided it across. So this conference call firing 7 little shards, shotgun buckshot in each shot, that 46,000 damage is divided by 7. Now, they're done at Fibber, which it fires actually about 15 or 16 little pellets in its buckshot. The B thinks it's only got 2 little pellets, so it'll divide that 46,000 by 2 when it's really applying it to about 16. That, coupled with the legitimate 60,000 damage, is just remarkably high damage that you can do, and I'll show you just how many huge chunks this can take off of anything. Let's see, my other gear, I have Legendary Siren class mod. I don't think I really need to say anything else. Longbow Fire B, this is my favorite grenade of all time. It has this great kind of fire vortex on the ground with a bunch of little child grenades that spawn out of it and just burn everything. Blood of the Seraphs relic buffs up my max health and my health regen. Pretty standard stuff. Really good for damage output. Really good to maximize the B shield. Let's see, I'll go on to my skill tree now. This skill tree is posted in the forums of our site, and yeah, this is my, like I said before, my glass hammer Siren. This is a really strong solo build, but can also be very useful as a mobile tank in multiplayer. I'll start off the ward skill here. Typically, regardless of what class you're playing, you don't want these kind of slower, non-proactive buffs, as they really kind of suck. I mean, yeah, they could be doing more. The thing is, though, you want to keep in mind, the B shield is the most unbelievable piece of equipment that exists in Borderlands, and to be able to take full advantage of that, you need the shield to be at full. So, taking 80% of the delay away from your B's recharge is absolutely game-breaking. I mean, just scant seconds after taking a hit from something, you're back up at full, dealing that extraordinary amount of damage that the B shield lets you deal. That's the only reason why this ward skill is up, and it is worth it. Accelerate, basic damage dealing, again, tank build here. Converge is a fantastic skill for the Siren, and I think any build should really use this. I don't care what what sort of build you're doing, you should have Converge. It's amazing solo, it's amazing in groups, it just makes everything so much easier. Over to the Harmony tree, basically just Mind's Eye to get critical damage. You want to get as many buffs. Melee damage isn't important to this class at all, so that's more relevant. It's just a bonus to criticals can make this damage output even higher. Wreck for the same reason. Then we go over to the Cataclysm skill tree, the heaviest of this build. We have Flicker for a bunch more elemental. We have Foresight again for just more damage. But the heavy hitters in this tree, Reaper, which is fantastic against any sort of bosses, especially the Rave bosses, and then Ruin, which you can put almost every damage element on an enemy that does damage over time. And to get all three of the corrode, electrocute, and slag is just unbelievable. You take away the shields, but more importantly you slag them, which in Borderlands 2 means you deal a huge damage bonus. So you'll notice the theme of just everything amplifying damage with this class. And that's the basic idea. So I'll show you a little bit of how that works now as I go down and hopefully give Pete a bit of a massacring. In case you're curious, if you haven't bought the DLC, this area and this rave boss, this is part of the Torg DLC. You have to face him at the end of the DLC. It's like a side quest mission, and you need some iridium bars for him to actually spawn, but that shouldn't be too hard this late in the game. Go down this little lift. This is his lair. You face him earlier on as part of the story, and he really kind of sucks, but the idea is, I believe it says Pete's been working out, and this boss is, oh wow, this sucks. Oh my god, this is the third time I've tried to record this video. Actually no, sorry, this is the fourth. The first three I was able to face him. Now, typically what the DLC had was any of the rave bosses that give off seraph crystals, which I'll get into at some point later. You can only face them once per day. And then about maybe 3 weeks ago to a month ago, for some reason that was turned off online. And you could face them as many times as you wanted per day and just farm crystals. Now, of course, the one time I get everything right for making a video, the freaking boss doesn't even spawn because I've beaten him already today. I've faced him about 12 times in the past 2 hours, beaten him each time, and now, this is so aggravating. At least you guys have seen my loadout. I don't want to disappoint you that much, so I'll probably cut the video here, and I'll probably just farm Terramorphous to at least show you what this class can do. I'll try to get Pete up in the next couple days. But yeah, on to Terramorphous.